Now you have an idea of the pricing and how all that works. But again, I think most of you prefer granular. Me, I actually prefer to use a liquid, and that's because large patch in this case, it's a disease that attacks the leaf blade and also hangs out more in the crown of the grass. It's not necessarily all root, even though some of it will be in the root area. And you got to think about it, when you spray a liquid, it kind of coats the top and coats down in there, whereas the granular has to be watered in and it goes into the root zone and then has to kind of work its way back up through. So anyway, but I understand they're gonna work the same. It's just the liquid would work a little bit kind of faster, I think. It'd be quicker. But again, the granular will work just fine. And again, this is what most of you are gonna use because this is what you're comfortable with. So the nice thing here is treats up to 5,000 square feet, treats up to 5,000 square feet. So we're good there, but we gotta look a little bit deeper here because we have a difference in a preventative and a curative. So a preventative means you're putting this down before you see active disease in the lawn, whereas curative means you have active disease and you're trying to stop it. By the way, if you have active disease like I do over here, this is my zoysia and I have active large patch all through here. I've actually stopped even treating this. This hasn't been cut in like 3 months because my neighbor had a pool installed over here, you see. And so we're gonna have to rip a lot of this up anyway, because what we're gonna do, because he had that done, we have to fix all that. We're gonna go ahead and install drainage and stuff, because the reason the large patch has moved this way is because this is where water flows. Water just sits here. Even after I irrigate, it just sits here and then it just flows, and you can kind of see. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some drainage in here. So that's gonna be a big video coming up. Holy giant bags under my eyes. Okay, so there is active disease here, so I would put down a curative rate here if I was going to apply. I'm not though, because again, this is all gonna get ripped out, so I'm not putting any chemical here. That's just a waste. But I just wanted to say, if you have active disease in your lawn, use the curative rate, which will also prevent further, but you'll be using a curative rate. The other thing is that right there, if I was gonna try to treat this and keep it going, it's gonna take a couple months for that to recover. You gotta let the stolons and rhizomes move their way back in. So you put down the fungicide, it stops it in its tracks, then you start feeding it so it can work its way back in and fix itself. I'm sure I've done videos on that in the past too. It will come along, but either way, curative if you have active disease, preventative like we're gonna do over here today where we don't have any active disease, but we're just trying to make sure we don't get any. So that's the difference between curative and preventative. See, we have right here preventative rate, and then we have curative rate. It just depends on what your spreader is. But either way, we're going with the preventative rate because I'm applying over there today on the new sod. So our preventative rate is 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Just so you know, the curative is double that, 4 pounds per 1,000. So we're at the preventative, 2 pounds per 1,000. And you can see this is a 10-pound bag. And so 10 divided by 2 is 5. And so that's why you can get 5,000 square feet of coverage. All right, and here's the French-made Bio Advanced. Now, they're a little bit different. They have things a little different here. Their preventative rate, depending on what disease you're going after, is a little different. We're going after brown patch. We call it large patch in the South. It's Rhizoctonia. It's called brown patch when it's on cool season lawns. But either way, oh, look at that, striped smut. Oosh, I had that in college. Well, you don't want to get that. Anyway, preventative rate, 2 pounds per 1,000 for brown patch or large patches, which is what we're going after. But apparently, if you have some of these other ones, take all patch, fusarium, then you could use a higher rate of 3.5 as preventative. Now, if you have brown patch, large patch, and you want to do a curative, let's see, curative, you apply at 14-day intervals. Preventative, you just apply at 21 to 30. So it's the same rate on the Bio Advanced, you just apply it closer together as a curative rather than preventative. Wow, that's confusing, I know, that's all right. Brown patch, what we're doing today, 2 pounds per 1,000 because we're preventing, 2 pounds per 1,000. So both of these, 2 pounds per 1,000, 10 pounds, and so that's how you get your 5,000 square feet.